Hi guys, let's go ahead and do our read aloud for today. And we're almost there, we're getting there. Okay, 24. Our next chapter is called 24 Farts. You heard me correctly. Mr. Vaughn's class was in the library. We were supposed to be looking for new books to read, but the BBLL board had other plans. Rebecca, Danny, and I met back in the stacks as far away from the mirror Mrs. Jones as we could get. The first order of business was to add Trey McBride as our newest member. Trey? Danny asked. Trey was there and he looked embarrassed. He wasn't the one banning books, it was his mom, I said. And you know how you were asking me what to do next? He's got a plan. I move that we add him to the BBLL board as our challenge response coordinator. That got Rebecca and Danny interested. He was voted in unanimously. So here's we're going to do, I told him. We're going to ban every book in this library. Rebecca and Danny looked as stunned as I had been. Ban every book? Rebecca said. Shh, called Mirror Mrs. Jones. No talking. I dragged the BBLL board into one of the library meeting rooms where we could talk, and I explained the plan. When Rebecca and Danny got it, they liked it. I knew they would. Danny flicked his hair out of his eyes. But how are we going to find something wrong with every book? Trust me, Trey said. Books have been challenged for all kinds of crazy reasons. I looked up some challenges on the internet. The easy ones are anything that's got witchcraft or supernatural stuff in it, anything with bad words, anything with crazy characters, anything with violence, anything with adult content in it. He blushed when he said that one, and we all found somewhere else to be looking. That's a lot of books, Rebecca said, but not nearly all of them. But look at this. Trey unfolded a piece of paper on the table. The Stupids got challenged because it reinforces negative behavior and might encourage children to disobey their parents. Here's a riddle book that got banned because it made kids who couldn't figure out the riddles feel bad. My Teacher as an Alien got challenged because it portrays the main character as handling a problem on her own rather than relying on the help of others. Here's Destruction of Property. Teaches kids to lie. A real downer. Anti-family. Lewd. Twisted. Too mature. Too immature. Bad Grammar. Promotes poor nutrition. Includes the word fart 24 times. Danny snorted. What book is that? Walter the Farting Dog. Oh, sure, Danny said, and we all nodded. Look, the point is, once you ban one book, somebody somewhere can find a reason to ban every book, I said. I looked to Trey and he nodded. Even Where's Waldo has been banned because someone found one little woman sunbathing face down with her top off, Trey said. We just have to start thinking like people who see stuff everywhere that bothers them. So, I just have to pretend to be my grandmother, Rebecca said. Or my mom, said Trey. Okay. The next chapter is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Once we got into looking for reasons to ban books, it was kind of fun. Anything with witches, wizards, jack-o'-lanterns, demons, or gods, gone. No Harry Potter or no Percy Jackson, no Artemis Fowl, no Chronicles of Narnia. Anything about adult content or the human body or reproduction, gone. Anything with crazy characters in it, gone. This one says, oh Lord in it, Danny said. My mother won't let me say God's name unless I'm praying. Ban it, I told him. This book has the word, I can't say, on the first page, Trey said. I looked at the cover. It was a Newbery winner, but just about anything with one of these medals on it, you can find some reason to ban it. Fill out a form, I told him. Shh, no talking, Mirror Mrs. Jones yelled. We worked quietly and quickly all week long. That book about the Civil War, too violent. That book about the Holocaust, too depressing. That book about diseases, too scary. A book about lions, too gory. Every night I took home a stack of requests of reconsideration forms to add to the growing pile in my bedroom. We were going to bring them all to the next school board meeting. Really put on a show when all the TV cameras would be there. But we only had 4 school days left and a lot more books to ban. Luckily, we had Rebecca. She was the one who really shone when it came to challenging books. If ever there was a book we just couldn't imagine anybody banning, Rebecca could always come up with a reason. I think it was all the time she spent practicing to be a lawyer. The Lorax. The Lorax portrays lumberjacks and the timber industry in a negative light. Goodnight Moon. The mouse in the room is a health code violation. The red balloon is a choking hazard. And look at this picture of the illustrator on the back. He's holding a cigarette. That encourages kindergartners to think smoking is cool. Oh, and don't get me started about Amelia Bedelia. She clearly has some sort of crazy disease, and yet children are encouraged to laugh at her. What kind of message is that sending? This library is a lawsuit waiting to happen, Rebecca told me. There was a gleam in her eyes as she said it. Rebecca, do you remember we're doing this as a prank to prove a point, right? Not actually doing it. Right, of course, Rebecca said. She looked a little sheepish, but went back to the book challenge with gusto. Danny filled out a form for Frog and Toad, our friends. What's wrong with Frog and Toad? I asked him. Oh, they're kind of a strange couple, he said. Oh, come on. They are not. They're just friends. Okay. And then there it was. And that was it, wasn't it? All the books challenged the real ones were because one person saw a book in a very different way than somebody else, which was fine. Everybody had the right to interpret any book any way they wanted. What they couldn't do then was tell everybody else their interpretation was only an interpretation. 3 days later, we had requests for reconsideration forms filled out for 500 books. There were lots more books than that in the library, of course, but it was the best we could do, even with Rebecca's lawyer superpowers. 500 book challenges would still look great on TV, though, and make our point for us. We were ready. And then disaster struck. And by disaster, I mean my little sisters, which amounts to the same thing. All right, and I will read again on Friday. Bye, guys.